I thought marriage was gonna fix all my problems.
There is no way that I'm going to be able to do this if it's gonna be like this forever.
Lately, rumors have been swirling about Justin Bieber's marriage. From cryptic posts to long public absences, fans are convinced something's off. But instead of relying on speculation, we're going to examine their relationship through a different lens. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned clinical psychologist, has spent over 40 years studying thousands of couples. His research is so precise, he can predict divorce with over 90% accuracy. In this video, we'll break down his 7 signs of impending divorce and see how, or if, they show up in Justin's behavior. Gottman's first sign is the 4 horsemen, and it's also the biggest predictor of divorce. Ironically, it's also the sign most examples fall under. Let's start with the first horseman, criticism. Moments after Vogue announced Hailey as the cover star for their summer issue, Justin quickly took to Instagram. However, it wasn't to congratulate his wife, as you may expect. Instead, he overshared about a huge fight they got into after he told her she would never be on the cover of Vogue. Justin even acknowledged his bad behavior in the post, saying, "Yikes, I know, so mean. For some reason, because I felt disrespected, I thought I gotta get even." Not to get ahead of ourselves, but the third horseman is defensiveness, and appears to also present itself in this post. Justin criticized his wife, but it's not his fault because he felt disrespected. Either way, fans were left confused, because when Kendall Jenner made the cover of Vogue, Justin made a post congratulating her and calling her beautiful. The kind of post you would expect a husband to make about his wife, instead of some bizarre backhanded compliment about proving him wrong. Justin immediately received backlash for his post, and quickly decided to replace his caption with a random string of emojis.
If you weren't so hot, I would've got rid of you a long time ago.
When you start digging into Justin's behavior, you tend to find 2 extremes. One where his actions border on love bombing, and one that borders on contempt, the second of the 4 horsemen. Dr. John Gottman defines contempt as mocking, sarcasm, or disrespect towards your partner. And some of Justin's most viral moments can be placed under this category. For example, on his wife's first Mother's Day, just 10 months after giving birth to his first child, Justin took to Instagram to say, "Love you moms, but Mother's Day sucks." Justin followed this up with a story post saying, "Good luck today for anyone navigating Mother's Day." This was confusing because typically a mother's first Mother's Day is a big deal. It's the beginning of a lifelong tradition that doesn't just celebrate your wife, but the family you two have created together. While the internet assumed these posts were directed towards his wife, others claimed the posts were subbing his mother instead. And while that could be true, it would be easier to believe if Justin didn't have a history of shading his wife on social media. Some examples are direct, like when he made a post making fun of her teeth, or when he reposted reels on his story about how wives are clingy and annoying.
I can't wait to play. Got my headset and everything.
While some are indirect, like him recently commenting "I love you" on 17-year-old actress Ariana Greenblatt's Instagram despite being 31 years old and married. However, examples of contempt exist offline as well. Fans have pointed out that Justin has a tendency to reject kisses from his wife, and when he accepts the kiss, he almost always wipes his mouth off afterwards. Let's quickly move on to the third horseman, defensiveness. As previously mentioned, Justin's bizarre Vogue cover caption about having to get even with his wife due to him feeling disrespected could fit under this category. But another example that fits comes from an old Facebook Live, where Hailey playfully says that Justin can be a little bit messy sometimes, only for him to interrupt and make it a competition about how much stuff in the room belongs to Hailey, not Justin. Therefore, she's the messy one, not him.
You are a little bit messy sometimes, and
oh my god. That's not true.
A little bit.
Look at this room and let's really look at whose stuff is in this room. It's all your stuff. Your
Really?
makeup, your Adidas stuff, your
That's
Sharpies.
yours. That's your Adidas stuff that
That's
you
not
haven't
mine.
gone through yet. Isn't that for you?
Unbelievable.
The fourth horseman is stonewalling. It's defined as shutting down or withdrawing from interaction, and it's the most interesting of the four as it goes both ways. A blind item from April of 2025 alleges that Justin does, quote, anything and everything to not spend any time at home, and when he is home, he allegedly locks himself in his studio so he can be alone and work. This is interesting because Justin has been caught on camera showing behavior you wouldn't expect from a brand new father. An example of this is when footage circulated showing Justin Bieber celebrating rapper Sexy Red's birthday at the Players Club, a strip club in downtown Los Angeles, where he can be seen dancing, smiling, and even kissing Sexy Red, all while his wife stays at home and raises their son. The second half of that blind item, about allegedly locking himself in his studio so he can be alone and work, had some fans wondering if the snippet Justin posted to Instagram from his home studio, where he repeatedly says, "You just a little bitty in a high-pitched voice, could be him subbing his wife. Either way, it was around this time fans noticed that Justin had unfollowed Hailey on Instagram, later claiming that someone hacked his account just to unfollow her, once tabloids started reporting on it. While it's possible someone with the power to infiltrate a celebrity's social media account went through the hassle of doing so just to unfollow one person, fans didn't believe the story. And for what it's worth, Hailey, Justin Bieber's wife, did recently update her bio to remove both mother and wife. What used to read a model, a mother, and a wife now reads founder plus creative director at Rode. The next sign of divorce, as defined by Dr. John Gottman, is something called harsh startup. This is when conversations between partners begin with immediate negativity, sarcasm, or hostility. But since this usually plays out in private, it's not something we can reliably observe from the outside. What we can look at, though, are the next indicators in Gottman's research. The next being body language, which tends to show up more publicly. Much like with kissing, Justin also doesn't seem to enjoy being touched by his wife. When she tries to hold his hand, he pulls away. When she grabs his hand, he rips it away. And while at home, he straight up tells her to stop touching him.
Babe, I can't, don't touch me right now.
Justin's even been caught on camera forgetting about his wife and closing a car door on her. To give Hailey some credit, it does feel like she's trying a lot harder than he is. Even in official posts, Hailey can be seen smiling at him while Justin looks completely uninterested in her. It's possible this is an aesthetic thing. I'm so cool, I'm going to look bored isn't a new concept, but it comes across extremely weird when he only looks that way with his wife. Compare these moments of Justin with Hailey to videos of him at Sexy Red's party. Justin is smiling from ear to ear and genuinely looks happy to be there. His spirits are so high, he even voluntarily kisses Sexy Red and doesn't even wipe his lips afterwards, something that's been difficult to find Justin doing with his wife. Dr. John Gottman claims healthy couples make small efforts to de-escalate conflict, typically by using humor, empathy, or affection. He claims in troubled relationships, those attempts are missed or completely rejected. Several of our previous examples could be tied to this sign of divorce, such as Justin turning Hailey's comment about him being a little bit messy into a competition instead of playfully laughing it off with something like, "Yeah, I'm a bit of a hoarder," or making a self-deprecating joke when Hailey beat him at a basketball arcade game instead of yelling excuses at her.
My score? Husband's score.
Baby, I wasn't trying!
Let's move on to the next sign of divorce, flooding. Flooding is when one partner feels emotionally overwhelmed to the point of shutting down or disassociating. In Gottman's research, this was usually measured through physiological signs like an elevated heart rate, something we obviously can't observe from the outside. But in real life, disassociation can sometimes manifest in more visible ways. And one of those is substance abuse, something that has unfortunately become a reoccurring topic when discussing Justin Bieber. Almost since the beginning of his career, Justin Bieber has gone through noticeable cycles with substance abuse, periods where his use became highly public, followed by stretches of seeming sobriety or low visibility. Fans have watched this pattern repeat over the years, often tied to moments of personal or emotional turbulence. But recently, following the birth of his child, some believe he may have entered another another one of these concerning phases, raising fresh questions about his well-being. One of the most notable incidents occurred at Coachella in 2025. Although Justin didn't perform, he was seen on camera throughout the weekend, including in one widely shared clip where he appeared extremely unhealthy and out of it. According to reports from Page 6, Hailey was even forced to remove Justin's 15-year-old brother from the scene after Justin began smoking in front of him. A Twitter video included in the same article appears to show the moment in question. This comes months after a video circulated of Justin yelling at paparazzi from a smoke-filled van that fans described as smelling strange. Justin would condemn the allegations of him using while simultaneously posting photos and videos of himself to Instagram where he's openly smoking. However, the next sign, known as bad memories, is an even larger tell that a couple is heading towards divorce. Gottman specifically describes an individual recalling their marriage with bitterness or negativity as a major red flag. This puts a spotlight on an interview Justin Bieber did with Apple Music where he describes having an emotional breakdown after getting married because he expected the marriage to fix all of his problems.
When I first got married, I hit a little bit of an emotional breakdown because I thought marriage was gonna fix all my problems, and it didn't.
Justin also told GQ that he was, quote, on eggshells during his first year of marriage, going on to say that the first year was really tough due to a lack of trust between them. Hailey even mentioned in an episode of the In Good Faith podcast that she reached a breaking point early in their marriage where she made a tearful phone call to her mother saying, quote, I just can't do it. There's no way that I'm going to be able to do this if it's going to be like this forever.
There is no way that I'm going to be able to do this if it's going to be like this forever.
It's worth noting that Justin and Hailey's relationship was rocky well before they tied the knot. They dated on and off between 2015 and 2016, eventually breaking up, only to reconnect in mid-2018, get engaged just a few weeks later, and married 2 months after that. While every relationship follows its own path, it's not exactly typical to jump into marriage so quickly after reviving a previously failed romance. It's completely understandable that their first year of marriage may have been turbulent, especially considering most of their time post-reunion was likely spent planning a wedding, rather than rebuilding their foundation. However, talking negatively about the beginning of your marriage is noted by Dr. John Gottman as a telltale sign the marriage is doomed. The final sign is a lack of positive sentiment override. In healthy relationships, the overall emotional tone is positive, even when conflict occurs. In troubled relationships, negative sentiment colors everything, even neutral or positive interactions. Many of the examples previously discussed could also fall under this category, from Justin's reaction to his wife making the cover of Vogue, discussing their first year of their marriage negatively, seemingly being annoyed at her in public, rejecting physical affection, and reposting "my wife is annoying" memes. Even when he's complimenting her, the tone feels off, like when he referred to his wife and the mother of his child as a on Mother's Day weekend. In a sort of ironic turn of events, Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber's infamous ex-girlfriend, has seemingly been showing Hailey support on Instagram since Justin's Vogue and Mother's Day debacle. Many tabloids, such as Cosmopolitan, Page 6, and Us Weekly, reported that Selena liking Hailey's Instagram post about her Rhode products being stocked at Sephora was a subtle gesture of solidarity. Around the same time, Selena also posted a story that read, "You matter. Your voice matters. Your heart matters. You are worth so much more than you know." She added the caption, "You know who you are, and I'm cheering you on." The same tabloids allege this story was targeted towards Hailey, and it makes sense that Selena could empathize with her, considering Selena's been pretty outspoken about her past relationship with Justin, even alleging to be emotionally abused during the relationship. In an interview with NPR, Selena said, "I'm not being disrespectful disrespectful. I do feel I was a victim to certain abuse. And when asked whether she would categorize it as emotional abuse, Selena responded, yes. At the end of the day, none of us know what's really happening behind closed doors. But when the same patterns keep repeating, it's hard not to wonder. Dr. Gottman's research gives us a framework to recognize the red flags that often precede a breakup. And whether intentional or not, many of those signs seem to show up in Justin's public behavior. From public criticism and defensiveness to emotional withdrawal and growing concern from fans, it's clear that something isn't quite right. Maybe it's just a rough patch, or maybe we're watching a slow unraveling play out in real time. Either way, the cracks are showing, and the silence between them is starting to speak louder than anything else.